Okay, so this video we're going to make a Scout Woggle made out of paracord, and this is a 3-lead 4-byte Turks head, which I'll explain later on what that means. What you're going to need is at least 1 meter of paracord or natural cord. That will make a Turks head with 2 lines on it, and if you want more then you'll need more cord, up to about 1.5 meters. What you can do is do 3 separate colours, and then you'll probably only need about 75 centimetres of each colour. What also you'll need is a pole or a stick or a tube, roughly between 1 inch and 3/4 of an inch, approximately. Last thing, these instructions are online for free, downloadable from a website which I'll link in the description. But what I love about this method is that it's tied on the hand, so that means any young person that's tying it, if they can't make too many mistakes with it because it's tied on the hand. It makes it a very easy method to learn. So we're going to start off with 1 colour. Now this is about 1.5 meters of cord, so I'm going to find the middle of it, and I'm going to put that half of it underneath this hairband. Now the hairband is really useful as it stops all this extra cord getting in the way. If you've got a watch, that'll be a perfect way of using that as well. So tuck that out of the way if you find it a bit difficult. So stage 1, cord down the back of your hand and the rest of it in the palm. Our first step, we're going to go from here, go between the 2 middle fingers and pop it there between your ring finger and your middle finger. Then it's going to come back round and over your thumb like that. So the next one is we're going to go in this gap now, through there, and then the last gap we're going to come up through there. So that's all the gaps used up now. Now what we need to do is to go over and under here. So there we go. So that rope we just moved goes over this one and under this one. And the last step, we're going to do a weave, an over under pattern. From this side we're going to go over, under, over, under. Okay, so over the first one, under the second one, over the third one, and under the fourth one. So that there is the basis of your knot. Now what you need to do is take the band off, move that out of the way, take this off your hand very carefully, wiggle your fingers out, and there we go, there's the basis of our knot. So I said earlier about the 3-lead 4-byte. What that means is we've got 4 bytes on the outside, that's the 4 loops. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then this one here, the 2 ends, that makes the 4th loop. And if you can see, there's the center, and going from the center to the outside, we've got the leads. That's 1, 2, 3 leads. Right, next thing we need to do is to find our pole or our tube, and we're going to put that through the middle of our Turks head. You see there, it's a square hole. Put that through there, and then very carefully, see how it's gone into a circle now? We need to slowly tighten it up. Just pull on 1 cord at a time. tracing it round, finding where each one goes. Take your time with this bit. And eventually you'll have this long piece by one of these ends. You can pull that tight. And there you go, that's the basis, that's the one strand. Now what you can do is take a second colour and add this now. But what I'm going to do is demonstrate this now with one of these colours, the original cord. So I'm going to find the longer half. Just going to flip it round. So at the moment, this is where it joins the two ends, this one and this one. And we're going to double the knot. So what we're going to do is going to be very carefully follow, like train tracks, follow this one here. So I'm going to stay parallel each time as we pull the knot tight. Okay. See that? It's following the same cord. And this is where some people go wrong. You've got to keep following the same piece. A lot of people end up going off track and following the wrong one. You see how that's gone to follow this one, and it wants to actually go under this, so it follows this one. So let's do that now. There we go. So I'm going to double this now. Okay, so I'm back round to where I originally started from. Now, what I'm going to do, just to make it easier, is just tuck that through a final time. There we go. So, there's the Turks Head knot. You see it's got two cords in it. It's the same one, just gone round twice. And it should always stay on the same side. If you've got one that jumps from the, say for this one, outside to the inside, it's a little bit twisted, it's fine. If you're happy with it, then leave it as it is. But what it should do is stay nice and flat and parallel. Okay, so, like I said, that's one version of it. So, like I say, we've got plenty of cord. This is 1.5 meters of cord. If you want to just leave it like this, that would be roughly 1 meter of cord. And all you need to do now is just to pull it tight and slowly work it round, work it tight by pulling that each cord following it as you go, pulling it tight each time. Eventually you'll have this little loop form, and then you can tell whereabouts you are. So you keep going until you get to the end. Now I've done this very quickly, but you should take a lot more time over this. There we go. So like I say, that's quite big for a necker. This is a 1-inch tube. You want to try and make it a bit tighter, use something a bit smaller. So what I could do now, okay, so what I could do now is leave it as it is. I would suggest if you want to finish the knot off is to, once it's nice and tight, cut one end of the cord like this. See how it's hidden? So cut it off so it's nice and hidden, and then cut the other side off. And one way is to glue it together, which I'm not so keen on. The other way is to sew it together. So you see, if you can create this little gap, and you can run a sewing needle and a bit of thread through that there and tie all the 3 cords together. Now this is plastic rope, so you can cut and melt it, but watch out that these ends can get quite sharp. The other way I prefer is using like electrical tape, because it's quite stretchy and you can wrap that quite tight around one end, sew it together and then cut the other end and, you know, pull it back a little bit, wrap it round, then put it back through and then cut it, then sew it together. So that's the knot done. What you can see here with this one, I started off with the red, and then I got this one in the middle to add the second colour. So I'm going to show you that now, what that looks like. So like I said, if we started off with one colour and then just added the next colour next to it, and the next colour after that, we'd have all 3 colours. But for this, we can add a second colour. So I'm going to go there in the middle of the first 2 cords. Like that. In the middle there. What you can do, you can theme your woggle to an event. Maybe you wanted to use a red and white one for St. George's Day, the patron saint of scouting. Or maybe you want to celebrate something like St. Andrew's Day and do a blue and white one, or any other event that you like. Maybe you want to theme it as some rainbow cord for Pride Month, or maybe you'd like to have different colours for different sixers or lodges for the beavers, or patrols for the scouts. So each patrol have their own separate colour, which I find is a great idea until you start moving around into different patrols. So that's up to you. Okay, so there is our knot. It's a 3-lead 4-bight Turks head, which we use as the woggle for scouting. That one was tied in the left hand, but I'll do another video tied in the right hand. And as you can see, you can make quite a few nice patterns doing that. Okay, thanks for watching.